name's Ian, and welcome to this, which is the first of our playthroughs of RuneQuest SoloQuest. So this is the first play art episode of this particular series, and I'm just going to run through a few bits and pieces of what we go. So for a start, what is SoloQuest? Look at the other earlier videos to get a broader overview of it. But basically, SoloQuest is a collection of solo scenarios for playing through RuneQuest with RuneQuest created characters. The original SoloQuest books, there were 3 of them. They were released in the early 1980s for the second edition of the RuneQuest game. Chaosium, by the way, have done a great job of putting solo style adventures into their starter sets for games like Call of Cthulhu and RuneQuest and Pendragon. And some of them carry, I think the RuneQuest ones actually carry the banner SoloQuest in them. And it's a very good way of learning the rules, as I've been finding out with this. So, tools of the thing, SoloQuest, this hardback version here isn't a normal retail version. It is the collected version of the classic SoloQuest volumes, of which there are 3. Available as a PDF purchase from Chaosium, and I had them bound into a snazzy hardback because that's the way I liked to do things. I am more a paper person than a PDF person. The rules that we're going to be using are the RuneQuest second edition rules, and this is the reprinted version, remastered and CCR'd and everything else in 2020 as part of Kickstarter. And this classic edition RuneQuest rulebook, which I have never played before to any great extent. In fact, all of this SoloQuest thing is my first experience with these particular rules. My RuneQuest journey starts with 3rd edition RuneQuest and goes on from there. So, you know, any RuneQuest 2nd edition aficionados out there that go, you're doing this wrong, it's fine. Please note that in the comments, and I can only improve my my ability and knowledge within the game. So that's the rules we're going to be using. Already created characters. You'll see from the previous videos in that an overview of the character generation rules. Some other bits and pieces. Pencil, obviously. This happens to be a Traveller branded pencil from one of Mongoose's Kickstarters. And dice, which come from a Dungeon Crawl Classics dice set in a in a dice tray branded with Black Hack, the Black Hack logo. So we have a number of games on represented for all of this: Traveller, RuneQuest, DCC, and Black Hack. The character we're going to go through and use is Pryadal Enshine, one of the characters that we generated through this. I had said that I was going to use Grimbletoe, who is more a skills-based character, but I've done a bit of experimenting with the SoloQuest scenario so far, and at least the initial ones, the DreamQuest ones, which we'll come to in a second, are very combat heavy. So a skills-based character in those combat heavy ones doesn't last very long. RuneQuest combat is very dangerous, but I'll put up some results of how each of the characters fared in their DreamQuest. I haven't done it with Pryadal yet, so this is the first time we're doing it with Pryadal, but certainly in my previous attempts with it, they didn't complete the SoloQuest all the way through. But I will give a summary of how they fared. What I would say, if you're going to do the SoloQuest scenarios, I would say You don't want a balanced character. You don't want a balanced character. You don't want something that's too skill based. What you want is a combat oriented character. And if you're going to go for a skills based type character, then make sure that they've got some spells backing that up to be able to enhance their combat, things like blade sharp and so on. Otherwise they just will not last the distance. Okay, so a little bit about Pryadal. Pryadal is a Sundown Temple initiate from Prax, the Sundown Temple just off the River of Cradles. He's initiate of Yelmalio, who is the primary deity of the Sundown Temple. For those that don't know, religion plays quite a major part in the RuneQuest in Glorantha. And a lot of the RuneQuest rules are specifically about the relationship between characters and their gods and the cults that they join and so on. Other things, journal, because one of the things that we need to do is note things down. There's a page of my experimentations things, so we'll start from afresh. These journals are really good. They come in a lined and squared side, which is what I'm using here. But there's also a hex version of it, and they're produced by a company called Square Hex, who do all sorts of other stuff as well, like hex mapping paper and so on. So if you're a bit of an old school role-playing cartographer that enjoys drawing maps on hex paper, I would go and recommend checking Square Hex out. Nice guy, nice product stuff, when in all of the interactions that I've had with him. Right, so let's get down to it. Okay, so first off, the rules. There are some rules in SoloQuest. So I'm not going to go into the RuneQuest rules per se. We'll cover those as we go through them. Again, if you notice that I'm going through any rule errors, then please jump into the comments and say you're doing this particular bit wrong. At which point I will look it up, and if I am indeed doing it wrong, then I will correct it for the next time out. If I'm not doing it wrong, then I'll say, don't bring your dirty house rules into my solo play. Right. The whole point of the DreamQuest side of it. So in SoloQuest Volume 1, which this is, Volume 2 is Scorpion Hall, and then Volume 3 is whatever that is, Snow King's Bride. But the Volume 1 has 3 solo adventures, the first of which is DreamQuest. The prologue. If any of you are as old as me and remember a TV show called Up Pompeii, you will get much amusement by the introduction of the prologue. But I promise you the prologue will actually finish and we'll get on with the story. So once upon a dream, your god appears. I told you, Glorantha has a lot to do with gods. You are asked to fulfill a mission, a symbolic reenactment of your god's conquests. In your dream, you will attempt to defeat your god's enemies. Unlike most dreams, in this one, there are real risks to run and real rewards to gain. So basically, the point of the DreamQuest scenarios is you fight 4 opponents, which are determined randomly from a set of 20, and at the end of it there is also a final boss encounter, shall we say, which we'll come to. I won't spoil that now. Not that in a product that goes all the way back to 1982 there's much in there to run as spoilers. Right, so there are a bunch of rules. So skill improvement is better than normal. So at the end of it, your experience rolls are taken as if you had an intelligence of 17, unless your intelligence is higher. This is the experience rules for RuneQuest. It's a more homogeneous system. There's no sort of levels or anything like that. If you use a skill, then you put a tick next to it, and then you may improve that skill during the downtime between adventures. And there's also training and self-learning and seeking out tutors to help you improve skills as well. Right, so if you successfully use power during that, you can also have a power roll to improve that. There are bits in there where you'll have a 5% chance to go to a Rune Lord or Rune Priest test when you get there, and so on. So there's a bunch of benefits that you get for completing the Dream Quest as your character. The rules. So on the individual counters you go. So all fights to the death. Not every encounter has to be a fight. So some of them may end up being friendly to you. So there's three reactions, and each encounter description tells you what reactions are dictated by what. So there's basically friendly, neutral, and hostile. If they're hostile, it's a fight. If they're neutral, may or may not be a fight. There's sort of leeway going on there. And if it's friendly, then they may actually accompany you on to the remaining encounters of the next encounter in the Dream Quest, which is useful. But most of them are fight type things. It says all fights are to the death, but if your opponent loses a limb, there are rules for losing limbs and getting nastily beaten up in RuneQuest. It gives me a bit of a bright smile sometimes when this sort of detailed injury type of affair or hit locations or something is tried to be. People try to crowbar that into Dungeons and Dragons. RuneQuest was constructed to handle that sort of thing out of the gate. Dungeons and Dragons, you really got to crowbar it in there, and it wasn't constructed to do that. And the more you play around with that, the more you are undermining the base assumptions of the game. But RuneQuest does it straight off the bat. It's part of what makes RuneQuest combat so deadly. Then there's a bit about initiates of Chalana and Oi, who are normally not out to hurt people, but in this instance they can, because we're dealing with this spirit forms in the dream plane rather than actual physical beings. Anything that you use in the spirit plane is also used in real life. That's one of the things that say consumables. That means in each encounter, there's a reaction that's just gone into that friendly, neutral, and hostile. If you attack, right? So if you attack a neutral monster, then the monster gains a bonus to its attacks and parries. And if you attack a friendly monster, then they also gain a bonus, and it's even more than if you attacked a neutral monster. In general, monsters get the first attack, but we may come across ones where that's not the case. There's this melee sequence that you follow to determine who goes first. It doesn't particularly use, well, not all of them take account of strike rank. This particular one does, but not all of them do. Strike rank is sort of like RuneQuest's form of initiative, for those that aren't aware on that. It's a combination of your size, your agility, dexterity, what have you, and your action, what you're trying to do. So your weapon you're wielding or action that you're trying to achieve, drawing a crossbow or something like that. Where we got to during the course of it, so there's, like I said, there's 5 encounters in total, four randomly rolled ones and then 1 boss encounter. And this is saying during the course of those 4 encounters you're allowed 1 6-hour rest period. So we will see what goes through. You only allowed that 1 single rest. All magic lasts the duration of each encounter, so spells must be recast before each combat. Oh, by the way, for those that are obsessed with my teacups, or that one person that's obsessed with my teacup, if I can turn this over without actually spinning the tea, this is an Egyptian themed cup of mine. I quite like it. However, it's thinner at the bottom than it is at the top, so it's not the most stable cup in the world. So I try not to use it around computers. Anyway, that's for the teacup orientated ones among you. Right, since you're in a dream, you cannot bleed to death. So effectively, what that's saying is, if you die within the DreamQuest encounters, then that's all right. You just sort of wake up and feel a bit woozy, and the pang of failure is upon you because you didn't complete the dream quest. Not that you're going to die for in the real world if you die in the dream quest. Damage occurred in the dream quest does not affect the material body. There we go. Bound spirits may not accompany you, because this is, you're going into the spirit plane, so things can't go with you. In RuneQuest, there is a facility to bind spirits that can then do things on behalf of you and give you certain boons. They can't come with you. There's also animals and stuff like that can't come with you either. The setup of our friend Pryadal here is that he is a mounted knight, so a lot of his skills are based around horsemanship and so on. So it may affect him a bit, but I'm hoping, because he's got a fair he is one of the two most combat oriented characters that we created for the course of this. So I'm hoping that he will do a lot better in the more combat orientated encounters that we've got in the DreamQuest sequence. So yeah, mounts, spirits, the whole whack. You can't be accompanied by anyone from the real world or the game world. But as noted, if you manage to get a positive encounter reaction, then they can accompany you into the next thing. Right. So if you know more spells than you have intelligence to remember, so the way that magic works in RuneQuest is, let's give you his spells, for example. So our friend Pryadal here has an intelligence of 15, and you are limited to holding in memory. It's not quite the same as memorization, but it is. It's like, you can only physically recite and remember and so on a certain amount of spells, and it's determined by the number of points of the spells, the points in magic point cost. So his spells add up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got an intelligence of 15, which is way above 6, but in effect, he can only commit to memory at any given time 15 points worth of spells, but he only knows 6 points worth of spells. So we can actually tick all of those off to say that they're currently in his memory. Where else we go? You may have the weapon of your choice in hand at the beginning of the encounter. Okay. You are always unmounted and are accompanied by no other animals or beings. That's what I was saying earlier about him being a mounted horse. Except when facing mounted opponents, you do not have your crossbow wound at the beginning of the encounter. So he doesn't have a crossbow. He's not really a missile weapon guy. He is a knight of the strict teachings of Yelmalio, but he's not a fan of using missile weapons. They're too common for him. So he doesn't know how to use a crossbow anyway, and so won't have one. But those that do, they can only have that ready if they're facing a mounted opponent. If you knock your opponent down, you may move out of range of his hand weapons and attempt to finish him off with missile fire. Fine. If the monster wins, it doesn't loot your body, so you don't lose your material possessions, except those consumables that you've used. A divine intervention will not work in the dream quest. You are helping your god in this venture, not vice versa. So there are mechanics for calling on divine intervention, but this isn't going to be something to use. Determine your opponent, roll 1d20 and go to that encounter. Complete the encounter and then roll again for the next encounter. Reroll any duplicates. You never encounter the same creature twice. The encounters continue until you have defeated once, or you have defeated 4 opponents. If you complete the quest, face one more final conflict, located right after encounter number 20. Right, there we go. And then it goes into suggestions on how to record the encounters and the melee as you're going, but we'll work that out on the fly. Okay, so just give it a bit of an overview for him. He's quite strong and quite tough, so 14 strength, 17 constitution, quite a reasonably large chap as well. 14 size, intelligence 15, so it's clever, power 13, so it's above average there as well, dex 14 and charisma 15. So he's basically a noble knight. His background is a rich noble, so he is a noble knight, 21 years old, initiate of Yelmalio at the Sundome Temple. His major skills are his detection skills. A spot trap is 55, but they're mainly down into his riding, which is 90, and his lance, which can be used either mounted or from the ground. His lance skill is 80, so he's pretty fairly up there with his lance. He also carries a sword, which his skill with that is 30. So just a brief thing on the way that these things work. The skill ratings in RuneQuest are basically, all things being equal, the percentage chance that you have to succeed at that particular thing. The way combat works is against one opponent. You can apply your defensive. It's a penalty to their attack roll. That's the implication that you're attempting to dodge out of the way of that particular thing. In later versions of RuneQuest, it moved from being defense to being dodge. You also have a parry, so he's carrying a medium shield with a parry skill percentage of 50. So he can attempt to parry one particular attack coming in with his shield every round. So there are rules for what happens when you parry, and if it's a success, failure, or whatever, and weapons and shields and things can take damage as they go. Okay. I think, should we get into this? Let's just go for it and see what I have. So the first encounter, we need to roll a 20-sided dice to determine which one he is going to face first. There's our 20, and it is 14. So in all of these, we'll go to 14. 14, Malzar. What is Malzar? Malzar, the mindless Minotaur. Oh dear. Okay, so Malzar, the mindless Minotaur. Friendly to Minotaurs, Stormbill and Zoran initiates, baboons, and any character with an intelligence of 6 or less. Well, that's not this. And it's hostile to everyone else, so we go straight into a fight. So the melee sequence, follow the normal melee sequence for this encounter. Malzar likes the knockdown drag out fight. So what he does is cast Fanaticism on both himself and his opponent. Note that this is cast with his initial power 15. That way, if his cast at you succeeds, neither of you will bother with any sissy parries or any of that chicken bleep defense. To say nothing of pansy defensive spells. Oh, this sounds good. Assuming the spell works on both of you, he will attack with the cudgel at strike rank 4 and a headbutt at strike rank 11, both at 60%. So this is where we got his cudgel and his headbutt. Strike rank 4 and 7. So it's 4, and then 7 plus 4 was 11 down the line. The light mace is there in case he drops his cudgel or gets hurt in one arm. He's equally good with either hand with the light mace. If his initial cast of Fanaticism on you fails or knocks down counter magic, he will keep trying, casting the spell instead of attacking with the headbutt. If Malzar is friendly towards you, but you wish to fight him, he will be glad to oblige as long as you let him cast Fanaticism on you first. Well, he's not friendly to us, so we get that. If he is friendly to us, we won't bother with that either. So let's go and look things up. I suppose what we need to look up is fanaticism first to see what that does. And see, I'm guessing it's going to be a resistance roll. Time. What's Rune Magic? It's going to be a... Come on, where are you? Where's your normal... Right. RuneQuest spells. Fanaticism. 1 point per point of spell. Okay, so what has he got? He's got Fanaticism 2, so it's going to be a 2-point spell. This spell increases the fanatic's hit probability by half again. So let's go and make some notes. So fanaticism equals times 1.5 on the hit. Okay. It also prevents the fanatic from parrying or casting protective spells. So can't parry or cast protective. Okay. However, if the fanatic has a defense bonus, it operates at half its normal value rounded up. So defense is at times 0.5. Okay. Thus, a character. Okay. One person can be affected by the spell for each point invested into it. Okay, so this is where his 2-point fanaticism spell comes in. That's why he's going to cast it on both of us at the beginning as a 2-point spell. A demoralized spell will cancel the fanaticism spell, leaving the target with normal morale. Okay. So if we look at the combat, so basic magic, all right, so the combat, so the strike rank of his fanaticism, let's say that he is ready, so the strike rank is 0 to start with, and his dexterity is dex 17, which gives him SR3, does it? No, SR1. So his SR with fanaticism is dex SR1, and the POW used. Okay, so his POW, he's going to be spending 2 POW on this, so it's what? It's POW points is 2, so that's an additional 1. So that's a total SR of 2. And let's see what else he's got. So that's a strike rank of 2 in the first round. Assuming the spell works on both, you would attack with the cudgel and SR4 and the headbutt at SR11. So spell is at SR2. Right, so the maximum number of strike ranks you can use in 1 round is 12. So our friend Minotaur here will go SR2 for his spells, and then SR6 for his cudgel. So that's strike rank to 4 for the cudgel itself, plus the 2 for his spells. Now the headbutt goes on SR7, which will then bring it up to 13. So we can only do those. So he's going to fanatic first round. He's going to cast fanaticism on both of us, and then attack with the cudgel on SR6. And what we are going to do, we have got his lance, which is SR4. So lance is going to be attacking at SR4. That's our only attack that we have. So our friend here is going to hit on strike rank 4 with his lance. So it's going to be fanaticism spell, my attack, and then the Minotaur's attack with his club. And we'll see how we go. So let's try and arrange things so we've got everything that we need floating around. So let's go and see if the fanaticism works first. We need the resistance table. He's going to be thrown at, and it's a POW versus POW. So it's going to be POW 15 versus POW 13. So it's 15 versus 13. So if we go and have a look at the resistance table, it should be somewhere. This is one of the things about this book is it is a bit all over the shop. Probably in the magic bit. Come on, where are you? What I should do really is there it is, resistance table. Okay, so we've got the attacking POW is 15, I believe it was. Attacking POW is 15. Defending POW is 13. So it's got a 60% chance of successfully succeeding. So we'll give that 60%, and it does succeed. Rolled a 19. Okay, so we are both affected by fanaticism. So what happens now is his power drops down. Let's go and make a note. So his power is 13 now because he spent 2 points in 2 points of power temporarily to cast that fanaticism spell. So we are both fanaticized. So this means we go into my attack now. So I'm not allowed to parry. Well, that's a bit awkward, isn't it? So anyway, we'll go all in with his lance. So the chant, you remember, the fanaticism, he's cast it on himself as well, so he cannot parry either, which is good. So tough. Okay, so his lance, he's got an 80% chance of hitting. His crit is 01 to 4, and then his impale is up to 18. So we'll see where we get with that. 67. So that's just a hit. He can't parry. So what we do now with RuneQuest, we roll. So round #1, right? Round 1. The defense, because it's going to use up to that, its defense is normally 10. Defense is normally 10, so his defense is 5. My defense is 5, sorry. Oh, yes, by the way, the attack, because we're affected by fanaticism, the attack has gone up to, for me, 80 times 1.5, which is 100. 120. So he's kind of done me a little bit of a favour here, but his attack is at 75, which is no, 60, isn't it? 60. 40 times 1.5 is 60. So what's he got that at 75 for? Saying SR's done that. Before fanaticism. Oh, no, sorry, it's his light mace. What we're talking about. Right. So I've hit him. All we're really doing is to work out whether we're going to be going for criticals anyway, because can't really miss at 120. Right, so 13. 13, we're looking at this bit here to see which hit location we've got. So 13 is his right arm, and he's got 5 armor points and 5 hit points. The damage we've got is 1d10 plus 1. So 1d10 plus 1 plus his damage of 1d4. So I need to lob of what that's those 2 dice. 3, 4, 5. So 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 1d10 plus 1, 4 plus 2 for his damage adjustment. So that's 6. And the armor in that location is 5. So we overcome it by 1 point. So we hit him in the RA right arm, and it's down to 4 hit points. And that reduces his total hit points. So his hit points are 16, goes down by 1 to 15. Okay. So that's my swing. Managed to stab him, but not to any great extent. Okay, so he then goes after casting Fanaticism, and now he's going to get a swing with his cudgel, which he gets a 97, which misses. He's currently up at 60%. So he missed, I hit. And now we are into round number 2. Round 2. Most of the values all carry over, except this time he is now his cudgel is on SR4, and then my lance is also on SR4, and then he is headbutt on SR11. So it doesn't really matter. It's going to be his cudgel, my lance, and then headbutt. It's just the way it goes. The maximum strike rank you can have in a round is 12. So if all of these add up and go over 12, you can't have that particular action. But that's the way it cookie crumbles. So his cudgel first, 60% to try and hit me. That's an 11. So round number 2. We'll see where he hits. I can't parry, remember, but I do get defense. The defense is still not really going to do much there. Rolled quite low. So we're going to roll on this particular thing here to see where he actually struck us. It's a 15. The 15 is right arm. He hit me in the right arm as well. So we'll do PRA, but what damage did he do with the cudgel? Is 2d8 plus 1d4. That's quite a lot. I've only got 1d8 here, but never mind. That's 5, 6 plus 1d4. 8 points of damage. So he's done 8 points of damage, but in the right arm we have 6 armor points. So that goes down to 2. So his hit points in this case have gone down to 3. And his max hit points has gone from 18 down to 16. Well, the damage that he's taken anyway. So that's now gone down to 3 points. So he's been hurt a bit in the vambraces. My hit back, let's see, do I get a crit? 0-7. No, but that's an impale, I believe. Impale, I want to 18. It's definitely, so I haven't scored a crit, but I have got an impale. So I impale. We'll see what happens in an impale. Impaling. Any thrusting weapons and all missile weapons, etc. Okay, we're attacking with a lance, which is impaling. Impaling takes place. We've done that. Okay, so you've impaled. Roll the weapons and damage add and all of that normally, and added to the total possible damage with a weapon. So the total possible damage of the weapon is 10 plus 1. So that's 11. And then roll the damage again, which is going to be 1d10 plus 1 plus 1d4 for his own strength type stuff. So it's 11 plus 1, which is 12, plus 8, 20, 21. So it's 21. And 21 1 did okay, good. Let's have to calculate. This, well, yeah, okay. The weapon is also stuck in the body and can only extracted by the attacker making a 1d100 made to 2 times its chance of impaling or less. If a roll fails, this weapon remains stuck in the target and is jerked out of the weapon's hands. Right, 2 times his impaling chance. His impaling chance is 18, so he's got a 36% chance of keeping hold of the weapon. 26. So we've retained hold of our lance, which is good. Okay, and so we've inflicted 21 points of damage. Let's go and have a look at the hit location that we've got. The Minotaur this time round, 17, which is left arm. So left arm. So 21 minus 5 is 16. We've inflicted 16 points of damage to his left arm, which actually destroys that. It's not just down. It is down for the account. So the way that this works is that if it gets down to 0, then it's disabled. You know, you can't use that arm anymore. And if it gets down to, let's show the injury part of it, and we'll go through it together. Each area has a certain amount of hit points, depending on the total hit points of the character as shown in the right. So, note the total hit points of the various areas are added up to, okay. No, it's on damage also. Okay, arm or leg receives more than twice the points of damage available. So that is, it's for his 5 points location there. Then if it receives 10 points damage, so a character so damaged from a single blow, thus a 2-point arm hit for 5 points will only take 4 points of damage off the total hit points. Remaining point of damage will have no effect. So that would be after this reduction of, so it's taken 16 points of damage to that one location. So the remaining 11 points of damage. The remaining 11 points of damage don't really have an effect. So if a character is so damaged from a single blow, done that, is functionally incapacitated, can no longer fight, is in shock. A location receives 6 more points than available. A limb hit for 6 more points than it can take in a single blow is severed or irrevocably maimed. And that's what we've done here. So basically, we've impaled the Minotaur through his arm and completely trashed it for good. We've also taken his arm off in the process. Well, I mean, destroyed it effectively. It's not being sliced off because he's not using a slicing weapon. So there you go. That's the end of him. We've taken a bit of damage. So we're down to 16 hit points, but we're all right. We're all right. And that's considerably better than any of the other characters have fared so far. Probably a bit too easy, but there we go. That's what comes of having an impale result, which was good. The other characters, by the way, the other characters have got in the region of 20 to 30% on their weapon skills rather than Pryadal's 80. The criticals and the impale scores are on a sliding scale from that. So the higher your weapon skill score, then the greater the chance of the impale and critical. One thing. I think with fanaticism, this is something that the RuneQuest 2nd edition players can answer for me. So the fanaticism spell upped his attack to 120. Question is, should I have then recalculated his crit and his impale based on that 120, or should I have just kept them the same level as they are based on his normal skill? Answers in the comments. Well, let's go for his encounter number 2. That's encounter number 1. Let's go for his encounter number 2. 12 this time, so let's go to 12. $11, $12. Yuck, the Scorpion Trollkin. Oh, that's interesting. The other thing that this guy is getting that's kind of a little bit better than the other attempts through is that the other attempts through tend to fall on multiple creatures attacking them. Whether Pryadal has just been that lucky, but it's only his first encounter. It's 1-to-1, and the second one he's got is 1-to-1. Okay, so let's go and read through what this encounter is all about. The fanaticism goes away, obviously. The spells go on a 1-to-1 basis. So, Yuck still remembers his former life as a Troll King, so he will be friendly to any Trollkin adventurer, in the unlikely event that he meets one. On the other hand, he will be very hostile to his former tormentors. Add 10% to his attacks and parries against any troll. He is neutral to any chaotic creatures. If your cult demands that you fight chaos, Yuck will not like you either. Well, there we go. A Yelmalio Templar. Follow the melee sequence for this encounter. Give Yuck 1 more hit point in each damaged location and add these to his total hit points. What? Give Yuck 1 more hit point in each damaged location and add these points to his total hit. So the more you damage him, the more his hit points increase. Interesting. Make a statement of intent. Okay. Resolve spells. Remember his chaotic feature of reflecting all demoralized spells. Okay. Regeneration. There we go. So his chaotic features reflect all demoralized spells. Okay. And regenerates 1 hit point per location until dead. 1 more hit point in each damaged location. There we go. Resolve attacks and parries. Remember his protection and skin armor when computing damage. So his protection, he's got protection 4. That'd be interesting. Remember if he has cast bludgeon on his club. Okay, well, we'll try and see what he does to go and throw spells around. If you were struck by the sting 2 rounds ago, roll the poison attack against your total hit points or your con, whichever is less. Have you ever noticed that your defense against poison or disease goes down as you take damage, but the monster's attacks do not diminish as its con decreases? Well, this one works both ways. Yuck's poison has the chaotic quality that its potency is equal to 3 less than his current hit points at the moment he stung you. The more you beat on him, the weaker Yuck's poison becomes. If you are stung, you will need to note how many hit points he has left at that point. Right. Bloody hell. It's a lot to keep record of here. You get no missile attacks on Yuck, nor can you cast any spells before the beginning of melee round 1. In the first round, Yuck casts protection on himself at strike rank 4. Then he hits with his club at strike rank 10 and stings at strike rank 11. Slicing off one of Yuck's legs will not discommode him. He has plenty more. Although his regeneration ability will not regrow the leg, it will give him 1 more hit point each round in total points until the 6 points of damage, the most he can take from a single limb hit, have been eliminated. 3 disabled legs will prevent Yuck from stinging, as will an incapacitated tail. Slicing off a leg will prevent further attacks by Yuck in that round. If you are wearing metal armor in at least 5 locations, Yuck will cast bludgeon on his club. Right, in at least 5 locations. So our friend has got he's got plate vambraces and plate gloves. So he has got metal armor in definitely more than 5 locations. So Yuck will cast bludgeon on his club. Okay, so the first thing he does is, so our strike rank is 4. He's going to cast protection 4 on himself at 4. So protection 4, I believe, increases defense by 20%. Let's have a look. Basic magic, protection, ability, multi-missile, shimmer, protection. 1 point per point. Okay. The spell adds up to 4 points of armor. Oh, all right. So it adds armor, not defense. Sorry. 4 points of armor to all parts of the body. Note that critical hits will ignore this, just as they would armor. This spell is incompatible with counter magic, shimmer, or spell. Okay. So it's 1 point per point of spell. Up to 4 points. So he's going to cast. So he's using 4 POW. So let's have a look. See if they've calculated the strike rank. So his dex is 18. So it's SR. Oh, where's your blooming little combat? No, it's spells. Oh, there it is. Right. So it's SR 18. So that's 1 for there, and POW 4. He's going to use 4 points, which adds a strike rank of 3. So 3 plus 1 is 4, so it is a strike rank of 4. I didn't doubt, but you know, it's nice to know where this is coming from. So the first one, he's going to cast protection 4. So that makes his armor location. So his armor is 7 from casting protection 4. And then then I'm going to hit him, right? So we're back to 80% on our attack. Sorry, quick battery change. So I'm about to attack Yuck. We've got 80%, but his defense has he got a defense? He's got a parry of 40%. So we'll see if he actually gets his parry in. Doesn't look like he's got defense floating around, so it will go for that. So 42, of course, I hit with that 80% chance I've got. He's going to try and parry. It's a 40% on the club. He parried, so we've got a successful attack and a successful parry. So he's blocked that. So his next one is going to be his so the first round, what did we say? He's cast out strike rank 4, and then club at strike rank 10. So it's 40% here, which he hits, which I'm going to try and parry with 50% with my shield, which I do. And he is then going to attempt on strike rank 11. He's going to attempt to sting, which is 30%. And I'm going to try and dodge that. So I'm going to take that down to 20%. So I've parried, and I'm going to try and dodge. And that's a 93, so he misses with that anyway. But it would have been down to 20 from that. Okay, so we now are back down to what we're doing here. So no one got injured in any way except that he upped his armor points to 7. Now this round he's going to cast bludgeon 2, so his POW is going to be down from 12 to 8 from that and then down to 6 for his casting of bludgeon 2. So that's what he's going to do in this round. He casts that bludgeon spell in order to increase bludgeon. When casting any smashing weapon, the spell increases the chance of hitting by 5% per point of spell. It also adds 1 point of damage per point of spell. So we've got his club is now. So in round 1, he cast protection and then attacked. No one else hit. So in round 2, he's now cast bludgeon. Right, and he cast that on 2 points. So it was 18, 1 and 2 points 2. So we cast that on SR2. So that was SR4. And that's cast at SR2. Then 4, which is my attack. So his attacks are now his bludgeon is now 50%. So his club is now 50% rather than 40%. So it's bludgeon 2 plus 5% per thing, and also plus 2 per point spent, and also plus 2 damage. Okay. So let's have a look. I can play that game as well. I can cast Blade Sharp 1, which will give an extra point of damage and an extra. Do I want to do that? No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so that was on strike rank 2. Now it's strike rank 4 for my lance, which missed horrible. Oh, there's an 89. That's maybe I should. So that was SR. That was an SR4. So now he's got SR8 for his club. 7, which he hits. He hits, and again I'm going to try and block that with my shield for 50, which I do. And then his sting, which this round is going to take place on SR 9. Oh, sting hits. Even on, and does it? 28. If I'm dodging that, brings it down to 20. No, it does not. Okay. So no one hurt again on round 3. So we're now on round 3. So no more spells on this round. I just get to go straight. 76. So I hit. But he's going to try and parry that. 40% on that. He fails to parry. Fails to parry. So awesome stuff. We got 1d10 plus 1 plus 1d4. So 1d10 plus 1 for the damage, plus 1d4 for the strength. And we got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points of damage. Let's see where we hit him. Great big thing here. 12, we got him in the thorax. So 12 points of damage. So it's 7 points of armor because he's got protection on. So that's 12 minus 7, which is 5. So his thorax is now down to 0 points, which is, well, not good, is it? So thorax is now on 0, which is a bit out of whack. So it's a hind bit. Doesn't really say anything about that though, does it? And his hit points are down to 9. Right, so he regenerates, but we'll deal with that at the end. So he's going now. He's a bit disabled. How are we going to deal with this? Do you think he gets so it's not a leg, it's his actual, the thorax part of him has taken a major damage. So that's the bit that's between his chest and her. Do you think that would disable him? It says like his legs eliminated that around 3 disabled legs will prevent Yuck from an incapacitated tail. Is that going to effectively, it's sort of center, it's this part of his body here. I think that's going to count as a sort of disabled legs bit. But what he's going to do is next round is that's going to regenerate up to 1, and then that's going to go up to 10. So he's back in the game again for the next round. So I think he can't do anything on round 3 because of his thorax going. So round 4, again I get to attack on strike rank 4 with his club on strike rank 6. So 82, I missed. He's going to come back with a club at 40, 33, and I'm going to parry that with a shield, which I do. And then he's going to try and sting me. So yes, 18. Yes, he does. So even that's down at 20, because I'm going to try and dodge it, he still gets through. So he's got 10 hit points at this point in time. So we've got to note, so he's stung at 10 hit points, right? And it says his poison, poison. If you're struck by the sting 2 rounds ago, roll the poison attack against your total hit points or your con, whichever is there. Well, this one both. So Yuck's poison has beat the chaotic quality. The potency is equal to 3 less than his current hit points at the moment he stung you. So that's going to be at 7, right? So the attack for that is going to be 7. The more you beat on the weaker it's upon. If you are stung, you need to know how many hit points is left at that point. 7. Right. So he stung me. Let's see where he hit me. 14. He got me in the right arm. Where we've already been hit, in fact. So he's got 1d6 plus 2d6 plus poison. So it's going to be 1d6, 1, plus another 2. So that's 6, 7 in the right arm. So it's going to be another point down. So 6 off that. So he's now down to 2 points, 16 and 15 points. 2 points in his right arm. Oh, why his right arm's taking a hell of a beating here. So that was his sting. Okay, so first round of being poisoned. So in round #5, and it will be 6 when the poison takes effect. So strike rank 4 again. 7. Oh, it's a critical. That is a... No, it's not a critical. But it is an impale, so we've impaled him again. That's going to go up to 2, and that's going to go up to 11. So same kind of rules apply. So we're on 11 to start with. Let's see where we hit him first. 14. 14 is chest. Well, this could kill him. So it's in his chest. He's got 7 damage. So we're on 11 plus 1d10. That's 18 plus 1, 19 plus 1d4, 20. So we've done 20 points of damage, which translates to 13 points of damage after his thing. But he's got to try and parry it. He's got to try and parry it. Let's see if he parries. 40%, 41. No, he does not. So he's taken 13 points of damage to his chest. That's even after his 7 points of armor due to his protection in his chest. He's got 6 points. He is down and dead. So that was Yuck is gone. I think the problem here that I'm got in is that the skill type characters. So those first encounter, when did that lasted 2 rounds, and then before I impaled him. This has gone up to 5 rounds. I wonder if I just see if he's going to be hurt by that poison. So find the resistance roll table again. Car, where are you? Where are you? I'm going to put a bookmark in for wherever the resistance roll table is. Let's go and look it up in the index, shall we? Resistance table 37. So we'll just see if he gets the last laugh and see if he actually ends up poisoning us at the death. 37. So the attack is 7 because that's the hit points minus 3 that he had at the time, against Constitution or hit points, whichever is lower. So his Constitution is 17 and his hit points are 15. So it's 15. So it's 7v15. Gives it a 10% chance. So we've got 10% chance of being affected by his poison. 83. We shrug it off. Right. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think the problem here is the skill-based characters found it too tough, and the combat-based character, who's kind of all in on weapon skills and things, is finding it somewhat too easy. Hasn't really been threatened too much yet. Been hurt a couple of times, but that's about it. Or maybe that's the intention of the author. I don't know. Right. So encounter number 3, 19. 19. We'll cover that final conflict up. The cockatrice, petrifying, poisonous pecker. All right. The cockatrice attacks everybody, but gets a plus 10% chance on any illuminated character. All right. Well, probably going to assume that we're illuminated. Follow the normal melee sequence for this encounter. Okay. So his peck is at SR8, so we get to attack first. The peck injects a poison into the body of the victim. If the peck hits and is not parried and penetrates armor, the poison conducts a POW versus POW attack against you. If his POW overcomes yours, you are turned to stone. And this quest ends. Oh my word. Okay, so the cockatrice. We'll just get straight into it, actually, because because I'm going to be attacking it on strike rank 4, and the cockatrice is going to be attacking it on strike rank 8. So strike rank 4, 49, that's a hit. It doesn't have a parry. Okay, fine. So we'll just roll for hit location. 14, left wing. Okay, so 1d10 plus 1d4 plus 1. 6, 7, 8 points of damage, which doesn't overcome his armor. So that's in Hash 1 hits, but no joy of overcoming armor. And his attack is 40 minus our 10% defense, so it's 30% he's attacking on, and a 54 misses. Right, so that's round hash 1. So round hash 2, see what happens again. So this time 29, that's a hit. Okay, so we hit. No parry again, so hit number 3 is left hind leg. Roll it again. Damage is 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 damage. Still doesn't overcome armor. So the cockatrice is shrugging off the blows that I'm stabbing it with this lance. Obviously, no Bellerophon. Right. The attack of the cockatrice comes in with a 91, which is a missing. So the cockatrice is down on 30. I better note that. It was my defense. Right. So next round. This is dash 3. I'm just noting this to see how many rounds these things last. A 20. That's a hit. In 16, 16, 16, 16. Right foreleg. There's a lot of forelegs going on. 9, 10, 30, 14 points damage. 14 minus 8 is 6. Yep, 6. So it's done the right foreleg. It was the right foreleg, wasn't it? No. I think it was right foreleg. Well, whatever, we'll say it's the right foreleg. Can't exactly remember. So it's 6 points of damage that has got through. So his right foreleg is now. So right foreleg is at 0. So he's limping a bit. Forelegs though, so it should be okay. And it's not severed. It's just incapacitated, and its movement will go down. But it doesn't really matter because we were all having a go at each other completely. Cockatrice goes and sacks. 26 is a hit, so I better try and parry that. 50, 53. Oh no. So that's, I haven't managed to parry it, so it's going to be 17. It's going to hit me in the left arm for 1d10 points of damage. Left arm. So 3 points of damage versus an armor point of 6. Doesn't get through. So tried pecking me, but didn't succeed. Awesome. Well, let's go and give him a go back then. So, 05. I think that's just 1 over the crit. It's, 04 is a crit. So 05, just a normal hit. Where do we get him? We get him in the 10. Get him in the 10. 4 quarters. Let's see where we get. 1d10 plus 1 plus 4. 1d4. 10. Oh, God, that's silly. 4. Got there. 10, 14, 15 points damage. 15 points damage, maximum going through. Okay, so that gives us... we're hitting him in 4 quarters. 4 quarters for 15 points damage minus 8 is 7, which reduces that to 0. 4 quarters, hindquarters. I think he's got to be incapacitated by that because that's equivalent to a chest blow, isn't it? I have stabbed him in the chest, and that's that one after 30 rounds. So after 4 rounds. So yes, it is a bit. Skilled characters, bit too hard, and I think it's largely because the only options you've got are just have at it with weapons, and when you've got a skilled character who's not got huge percentages like this guy has in his weapon skills, it's a little bit different for them. I haven't run every character through, by the way. Grimbletoe failed in his first encounter, but he was fighting 6 rats. The encounter that he got was it's number 9 here. It's Rubble Warriors 1, where it's 1d3 plus 3 rats, and of course he rolled for all 6. So you got 6 rats attacking you at the same time, and there's this countdown in rounds where if it takes you up to round 18. And he was getting into round 5, and he hadn't even incapacitated one of the rats, just purely because his weapon skills aren't up there. So I think if you've got a character whose weapon skills are in the 40 to 50 range, I think that's a good line of challenge. Whereas what we're talking here in Pryadal is he's got a weapon skill up there at 80%. I mean, one thing that was saving Grimbletoe a little bit is his shield, his shield parry is 55%. But of course, if you're attacking 6 opponents, or being attacked by 6 opponents, that doesn't really save you so much, especially with a countdown of poisonous gas floating around. Let's see what we get with him. Number 10. So encounter number 4 is number 10. Let's see where we get with that. One after the rubble runners. Scarface. Right, well, Scarface is an ugly cave troll. Right, let's see what he does. If you tell Scarface to go away and do it forcefully enough, he will probably obey. However, the only language he understands is Dark Tongue. Well, we can't do that. If you know Dark Tongue, then try it, but we don't. If you succeed and he does not make his int, then he goes away, otherwise he attacks. Right, so follow the sequence of the encounter. Add 1 hit point to every damaged but not destroyed hit location, and add these points to Scarface's total hit points as well. Okay. Well, after one not so quick battery change and recharge later, here we are. So let's just pick up where we left off, which was just about to battle old Scarface here. So when we're looking at this, it says resolve the attacks and parries. So let's just work out that. It's going to resolve spells, but his strike rank here is 5 for his club, 7 for his claw. How does he say this? He's going to be strike rank 5 for the club, and then strike rank 12 until one of his arms is disabled. So he's on SR 5 and 12. We know that Pryadal, he's on SR 4 with his lance. So it'll be Pryadal and then 2 attacks from Scarface. We're going to have the spells first. So he's got Bludgeon 1 and Counter Magic 1. So he says if he casts Counter Magic on himself, he will then recast it any round that it is blown down until, of course, his power falls to 1. In any round that his Counter Magic is still in effect, he will cast Bludgeon 2 on his club. Right. So he's going to do that. So Counter Magic 1, we're going to have to work out his strike rank for that. That Counter Magic. So his Counter Magic is going to be Dex is 9, so that gives it strike rank 3 to start with, and then 1 on the Counter Magic, so that is going to be 0. So the Counter Magic is on strike rank 3, and Bludge 2 is going to be on that's strike rank 3, strike rank 4. When he so chooses to cast them. So the first round is going to be casting Counter Magic on SR3, and then a club on SR8, and then his claw We'll take him into SR15, which is not possible. So he's got counter magic on it from this point, from casting that, and then it is our attack, and then we all go in from there. So 91. So Pryadal missed, and Scarface has got a parry of 35% on that claw. So let's have a look. 35% on the attack, less 10% on the defense. 99. Well, that's a miss in any case. So both missed. So and we're on to round 2. So he's going to then cast Bludgeon 2 on strike rank 4. That brings his power down to 6, 5, 4, 3. So net power is now 3. And then he's going to then be the club on SR 9. So he's got Bludgeon 2 on now, which, as we know, is plus 10% on his club, and then plus 2 on his damage. So we've got 94. We missed again on that too. And then his is going to be now 45% on the club, which he misses. Okay. So now we're on round 3. Nothing spectacular so far. So this is now going to be it's going to be me on SR4, and then club on SR5, and then claw on SR12. That's the order of play. So this time 26. Okay, that is a hit. He's going to attempt to parry. 39 doesn't parry. So we hit in location number 2, which is right leg. So he's got 5 armor points in the right leg. So remember this plus 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 3 points. 3 points to his right leg. So the right leg is down to 3, and his total hit points is down to 15. Now he's going to strike back with his club, and well, we'll take that D20 as a 9 anyway. So he hits. I think he's now on 45 or 35, 45%, 35 from the dodge. Do we get parry? 50% on the parry. 11. So that blow is parried. And now he gets to go a claw attack, which is just straight at 35. Don't defend this one. 90. So that missed. So no damage from anyone so far. So his percentage, just to get his percentages right, he is on, his club is, let's take it up here. Club is 45, and his claw is 35, right? That's right, so round number 4. We've got a 0-3. That's at least an impale. Does it fall in his crit range? Is a critical hit. So we're going to have to find the crits. So we're going to try and take that parry. Let's have a look. So 35% on the parry. Oh, he does parry. Okay. Does parry. All right, so parrying with a weapon inflicts damage to the weapon. Fine. So let's go and record the 20 damage this has. So parrying a critical hit, which he successfully did. Goes here. So let's just roll the damage and inflict that onto the shield. So it's 15 points of damage. So that shield is now down. Parried it with a weapon, which is now at 5 points. But at least he saved from doing a crit. So parried crit. Then he's going to have a go back. So 45% on the club, 87, and 35 on the claw. 02. So the claw hit. I will say that the guy's always using his defense on the 45. We'll see if he parries this. 50 on the shield. That's a 28. So that was parried. Parried claw. So number 5, round number 5. 93 is a miss. So he's on 35 on the club because we're trying to dodge it. Oh, that's a critical. Do we try and parry that? Unsuccessfully parried. Okay, so our little troll here has actually got a critical through. So do not successfully attach with 6 or weapons. Okay, so the shield didn't successfully parry. The club got through, so this is a critical hit. The damage is 2d8 plus 2d6. Ouch. That's 6. 14. Oh god, 20. 23. 23 points of damage on a critical that goes straight through any armour. That is effectively going to finish Pryadal off with his remaining 15 hit points, but we'll see. 18 gets him in the left arm, and because that 23 points of damage is well over that, Pryadal has actually had his left arm severed. So that is, with one critical, our Mr. Scarface, the ugly troll, has finished off Pryadal, and that's where his dream quest ends in tragedy. So he is another character. Did so well. It was quite funny. The first three encounters just seemed too easy, and then that last one, I guess that was all down to the fact that he ended up with a crit on that particular strike, and that just crits. It was a devastating crit, straight through any armor he had with a massive amount of damage. So yeah, so that was interesting. We didn't actually get to see the fifth encounter, which I won't spoil. So right, thoughts on that so far. I think my thoughts on SoloQuest, on this dream quest, so this first thing, I think it largely depends on what encounters you roll. Some are not as hard as others, but I would say if the character that you're running through is not combat oriented so much, then they will fail quite rapidly, especially on some of the ones that are a bit more complex than just stand toe-to-toe trading blows. And in any case, if your character is combat orientated, and Pryadal is very combat orientated, then you do really well for at least some part of the thing, unless you suffer a critical strike. And I think there's bad rolls involved there, because we had a few misses on the way, a couple of rolls that were over 90 for Pryadal, so he didn't get to land the blows in that he would have normally done, or that he has been doing in the past ones. If you remember, he got an impale on one of the previous encounters, and then all it took is one devastating critical hit, and then to knock him out. So near, but so far. But you know, it's fun. The SoloQuest stuff is a fun way to get your head around the rules and to flick your way through the books. And I found that with the SoloQuest scenarios in Chaosium games in general, I think it's a very good move that they're making in their current starter set line by including these SoloQuest games. Like I said in a moment, the RuneQuest, the Call of Cthulhu, and the Pendragon starter sets that are out at this moment in time all contain solo scenarios. The Call of Cthulhu one, by the way, they've continued that sort of solo questing theme, and there are a number of solo Call of Cthulhu scenarios out there that you know, they're fun to kill an evening, fun to play through. The only thing that you miss, I think, with solo play, yes, you get your head around the rules. You can form your own narrative in your head as you go through with something, you know, bare bones like this. The later ones you'll see when we get to the next scenario, which is away from the DreamQuest stuff. It gets more into this sort of traditional, you know, go to this paragraph if you go and do this, right? So the next one we'll do is Phony Stones, a solo mystery adventure. So we'll see how we go through that, and these are quite short. So in total, what have we got? It's not quite so short. I mean, it's that many pages, so it's not quite Fighting Fantasy length. 1238 paragraphs. So we'll see how it goes. That looks a bit more involved than I thought. But hopefully, the more skill-based characters will have a better chance of going through this. So they've got more of a narrative feel to them than the DreamQuest one. But it's interesting to see how the characters have fared or not. So far, in my playthroughs on these, I'll put some results up of how all of the characters did within their solo questing, within their DreamQuest, and show you which they failed at and which they didn't, and the route through they took. But that'll be a little mini episode. I want to do a little mini episode as well on an addendum to the character generation stuff, where we did the spell casting characters and where their spells came from and how we did with that. Especially there's one of the characters that is specialised in the magical side of things. Quite an extensive spell list and so on. So that was the DreamQuest failure, but more success than previous so far. Pryadal Enshine. So unfortunately, Yelmalio is not going to be too impressed with him at this point in time. There is a provision, by the way, within the DreamQuest side. It goes through. If you fail, your god will appear at 1 year intervals and allow further attempts. Begin with the opponent who last defeated you. So the yearly quest may be attempted until you succeed. So, as your characters adventure and go through and improve and get their skills up and so on, then revisiting the DreamQuest to see if they can continue to continue to fail, or if they improve their lot and manage to get through a little bit more. That's quite a nice touch into the thing. It's good to succeed, but failure isn't the end of everything. Your character doesn't die if it fails. There's some quite nice bonuses if it succeeds, and you get to redo it once every game year. Right, we'll wrap this up, but just because I had run out of all 3 batteries on the camera when I was filming last night, it's now the morning after, to finish off this particular video. So consequently, we've got a new tea mug. So for those that are following the saga of the teacups, this one is Formula One World Champions. So there's Mansell, Hamilton, of course, but it goes back. Graham Hill is there, and Damon Hill, Sterling Moss, James Hunt. So yeah, my best efforts to not spill tea all over the place have failed. But there you go. By the way, this is a different area of my desk. You can see, those that have watched my other top-down videos, there is no piano, you might have noticed. That's not because I've moved the piano. The piano is still here. It's just that this is a completely different area of my desktop. You can see the border of my painting palette there, and some silly other odds and sods as well. Boudica, indeed. Right. All right, so until we meet again, I suspect it's going to be another View of the Yelmalio campaign setting overview that it will be coming. Hopefully, as we go into the holiday season, I'll be able to get some recording time and script writing done. So the last few weeks have been a video every 2 weeks or so, which is just a reflection on my own busy life. So I'll see you on the next one, and please, if I'm doing anything wrong, like you saw, I was obviously with weapon parries, didn't apply damage to weapon parries until the end. If you are a RuneQuest 2 guru and you're going, hey, you've got this particular bit wrong, you need to do this. There's some bit of a rule that you might want, that someone might be able to clarify for me. There's a bit in there about using magic and magical attacks and physical attacks within the same round. I'm assuming that as long as you've got the strike ranks, you can cast a spell such as bludgeon or fanaticism or whatever in the same round as you are then going to attack. But if that isn't the case, if I'm reading that rule wrong, then please let me know. And until the next time, take care and have a great day.